All right, you guys better be sharing this around. We have a special co-host today joining us for the future of the stream, so hopefully you guys can make a warm welcome. Share this around. We're talking about the passion of trading all month long. Today, trading is more than just money. What more could it be? What more could it bring into your life? 2 minutes. I want you guys to see if you can guess who the new co-host is. I see chat going insane. 2 seconds, you're about to find out. Nice. Okay, guys, good morning. What a crazy morning for the markets. Dropping my tea down here. I see some people guessing Louise was going to be our new co-host. No, so we have James Bruce all the way from South Africa. He is a member of the ASFX community. He's been doing this for quite a number of years and doing live streams every single morning for the past, couple years or so?
Yeah, about 3.5 years. You can see I've been doing it for a while. I've got no hair, bro, so it takes a toll.
That's the running joke in the community, right? Is after you trade for long enough, or you run a prop firm, or any of these communities, there's so much stress. Why don't you just give a quick introduction to anything more you want to share, just so the audience can kind of banter with you and understand who you are?
Yeah, so obviously my name's James, right? I live in Ballito, South Africa. I'm 26 years old. I've just become a dad. So that's obviously also pretty cool. I've been trading for 8 years, and I'd say it took me about 2.5 years to kind of find my consistency. And then obviously, I was actually trading personal capital before. Obviously, the great thing of prop firms kind of like took it by storm. But yeah, other than that, I used to play professional rugby, and then that's how I found kind of trading after I bust my knee up. And here I am today.
Awesome. Okay, so chat, I want you guys. James is a very good trader. He's a very laid back guy. He's very similar to the Maven attitude. So I want you to give him as much flack as possible as we go on. Test him as best you can, because we got to test his skills. How well can you do here? I got my notebook, but before we get into that, market's going nuts, and I want to get some of your guys' opinion on this. Show this on stream here. Absolutely insane movements on the open, and just this whole past few weeks as a whole has been quite wild. If we're looking at the higher time frames, of course, this is definitely something that hopefully some people caught some of those longs, but after we hit this previous 4-hour level, we can see the rejection coming back in. So it looks like the bears have taken over control. If these candles can for sure close bearishly here, it looks like the NASDAQ might be a little bit more bearish for the rest of the week going forward, or the rest of the day at least. A little bit of chop in the NASDAQ overall if you're looking at the daily levels. Weekly, similar sort of thing. Overall, though, if you're looking at the high time frame, it's been doing nothing but going up lately. We're just getting a little bit of consolidation right now. And James, what's your kind of thought? Are you trading the NASDAQ or are you trading different markets right now?
Yeah, so I trade kind of everything, to be honest. I just go to where I can find my edge in the market. So I actually took these NASDAQ shorts off the highs there.
Right here, hey?
Yeah, I actually off the highs there on the 50-minute time frame. We literally got to the previous day's highs, and I kind of got in there. I'll have different pricing. I'll still trade, obviously, the CFDs. I know you guys in America that trade a lot of the futures markets, and obviously it's different pricing. Yeah, I actually took the highs there on the CFD pricing at 21,730. Call it
21,730. Okay, so previous days highs would have been over here though, no?
So previous days highs was slightly higher, maybe 50 points higher. So not kind of, but also that kind of level I saw kind of stalling there, and I took those shorts and actually.
And what was your reasoning behind having the short bias? Because we got to get a little bit of your style here. Because if you're trading based off previous day highs, that's something completely different than what I do, and I'd love to hear it.
So I love using previous days highs, previous days lows, looking at those levels of either continuation or, obviously reversals, which today would be a reversal day. But yeah, also just looking at the Mag 7 stocks, we had Tesla down 4.8%, Nvidia down over 1%. So most of the Mag 7 pre-market also quite down. But again, what I'm using is mostly VWAP and previous days highs and lows. That's kind of like the basis of what I'm looking at. I don't look to overcomplicate what I'm doing. I try and keep it as simple as possible.
I love it, man. You're going to challenge all of my ideas. This is perfect because it's much more like if you're looking at Tesla and all that, that's much more intense than how I look. I look at very, very simple things. That's good to see. Just a reminder for everyone, we do a $50,000 account giveaway at the very end. So best questions regarding the topic today is about more than money. Trading is more than just money. And we're just going to chat quickly about what other skills have we developed? What unexpected things have we gotten from trading that have nothing to do with money, And let's jump into Bitcoin as well. Let's look at Bitcoin. It does look good, though. I'm going to remind you of this total chart. I'm going to read all these random numbers out in the chart here. The total overall bullish market trend here, right? You have that monthly candle that was beautiful. So right now we're just sitting in these levels and we're buying up off those levels. Now, of course, we are rejecting maybe on a daily, right? But when you're looking at the higher time frames, it's not super significant because we could still come down and we could still have those buy ups once again because we did buy it already. And these are very small, insignificant moves when you're looking at the larger time frame. Now, what we were expecting was after a couple weeks ago, we had these really terrible wicks, right? And that should have brought us to these lows, which it did. So now we're satisfied in that we could be continuing to the upside here at any time. So we are looking for buys on Bitcoin once again. Gold has been very, very easy for everyone here. It's just been 8 weeks or so in a row. I don't know, James, is there anything more for gold that you want to discuss that might maybe some information that you want to spread across? Because I've had nothing to say on gold for the past 2 months.
Quite honestly, gold's probably one of the tickers that I trade the least. So I've probably traded it once this year. And obviously you would have guessed to the high side. So yeah, I don't have any comments on gold personally.
Okay, right on. Yeah, funny enough, because I believe it's our most popular asset that we trade at Maven. If you guys want to get a Maven trading account, maventrading.com, you can get your own, or you can get a giveaway. Okay.
I would have guessed maybe the NASDAQ would have been like the most popular ticker to trade.
The NASDAQ?
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny enough, people love gold in the prop firm industry. I think gold, EU, and NASDAQ, I think, is third. I think EU might be. It depends on the month, really, right? If gold is, maybe it's just because gold is doing well right now. And guys, the reality is, it's a trending market right now where Bitcoin's going up, gold is going up, NASDAQ is going up. What is going down? Well, nothing really. Actually, it's kind of one of those funny situations where usually gold goes against the traditional sort of markets, the more speculative markets, as gold is more of a safer play, but everything is going up right now. And maybe that's because of inflation. And when we look at the news that's been coming out, we had I wonder if I can pull it up here. Last week, I believe.
Someone in the comments is saying that to them, gold is like a trap for new traders.
Yeah, last week here. There we go.
You definitely got a busy chat there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we have.
Yeah, they're definitely active today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the chat's going insane. It's all you, James.
Yeah.
They're all excited for They're all excited for your new baby and your. You didn't recently just.
Yeah, how's that going with the newborn?
Yeah, no, that was interesting. First night was quite tough, but he's got into kind of a routine right now, so it's a lot better now. That's for sure.
Yeah. Funny enough, we actually wanted James on last week, and I tried to message him, and he's like, "I'm having a baby right now."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not making it. He was busy arriving.
Yeah, okay, sure. You weren't making the baby. I gotcha. Details, guys. I believe this is why all of the markets are going up, is because of the inflation expectations, just crazy change. As you can see over the past few months, inflation, November, 2.5, 2.7, 2.9, and now a massive spike once again. And as inflation goes up, that means markets in respect to the dollar should be going up because the dollar is getting weaker. And consumer sentiment, same sort of thing. Consumer sentiment is dropping. People are not wanting to buy as much. That's going to cause a problem in the future as earnings start to cause issues. Guys, let's get rid of this chart here. Emma, have you seen any interesting questions regarding our topic yet before we start my notebook?
I've seen a few come through. It was a while back, so me trying to find them now is a little difficult, to be honest. So
okay, Emma, butt in whenever.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we all know that trading is it's the most difficult thing in the world that you can do. And there's a strong reason behind that, because it's not just buy low, sell high. That's what they tell you. That's how they trick you, really. You know, they come into this, they get you to come into the space. All you got to do is buy low, sell high. It's super easy, right? You just wait for the price to go down. And then buy. Well, first of all, that's super against our natural instincts, right? We want to FOMO into everything, right? And so there's a couple more skills that you're going to start developing. You need to start developing pattern recognition. You need to start doing data finding. You need to be able to do back testing skills. These are all some random things. And those are just like more analytical skills. So you need to be a bit of an analyst, right? A little bit of an analyst, right? And everyone thinks, okay, I can just be kind of an analyst and then figure it out from there. You start doing your trend lines, you start doing your TA, and then it still doesn't work. Well, what the hell's wrong, right? What's the thing I'm missing, James? What is it?
Yeah, well, what I see from the guys I work with, and also my own trading, in my own trading journey, is I think a lot of the traders actually can, technical analysis, and that's pretty simple, as you said. Like, I know the kind of like the dumb money concepts and everything like that I've seen online, but that stuff's actually all pretty easy. I think a lot of the times it's, I think the biggest one is probably not wanting to accept losses. So like a lot of traders will go like Monday through to Thursday up whatever 2-3%, and then all of a sudden give it all back on one trading day. So I think probably that's not respecting loss limits is quite a big one. And then wanting to trade every single day, because they want to make back the losses that they've now lost on the Friday. They come on the Monday, guns blazing.
Yeah, and that's I think you just dove into. I have two other notes here. Is I've got the analyst part, I've got the patience and the discipline part, where that's completely all your emotional control side. And then you're also touching on the finances side, where you need to actually manage your budget, right? You need to be able to not blow all that money that you made. And I've done that before. I've made a large amount of money and then just blown through it all. And I could have used that to trade with, right? And these are simple things that, until you mess up with everything, and then you fix them one by one. And the whole goal of becoming a trader is becoming an ideal version of yourself, right? To be somebody who's able to be analytical, able to be patient, able to recognize their emotions, able to manage their finances. That's the funniest one, because we're all doing this just so that we can blow money, right? That's originally why we started. And then ultimately we become a completely different person. I want to hear, because I imagine it's going to be basically the exact same story as how I got into trading and how I became. James, break me down. I want to hear who you were. You can make this as abstract as you want. Who you were when you started trading and who you've become now 8 years later. How has it changed?
Yeah, I think someone asked in the chat there, why did I get into trading? Obviously to make money, but
yes.
Yeah, I was actually playing rugby, and then as I said, I messed up my knee. But yeah, I mean, before trading will test you on every, as you mentioned, you get into trading to make money, but you actually realize you actually have to change, like very disciplined routine. I've always been like quite routine based and everything like that. But in terms of other things like patience and, self-control and that type of stuff, you definitely have to, you got to learn it. Otherwise the market's going to, humble you, and you're going to have to learn it either way. Somewhere down the line, you're going to have to learn it. So yeah, that's there's a lot of things, but I'd say definitely probably patience would be the biggest aspect for me, and maybe even self-awareness. Like,
yes,
okay, am I going on tilt right now? What am I trading because I want to trade? Am I trading because I actually see a good setup? That type of stuff.
I love that you said self-awareness and humble, because I've got those written down too. All I do is 15 minutes before the show, I just write down a bunch of words, just a bunch of keywords, and then we talk.
It's kind of relevant to what I have up on screen actually is, has trading made you the best version of yourself? Do you feel that's the case?
The best version of myself so far, probably, I would say, yeah. The great thing about trading is once you realize that it's a battle of self-development, then you already are the best version of yourself, right? Because you're going to continually self-develop for the purpose, not for money anymore, but for the purpose of being better. Right, to be a more well-rounded individual, more humble. You use the word humble, right? More mindful. I think you use that word too. Patient. All these things, and that's the really funny thing. The really, what's the word here? The paradox of trading, right? Is we all get into it wanting to get rich and wanting to make money. And then the only way we're ever going to make money is by not wanting to that anymore, right? And it's so tricky. Is what we then strive for is patience, which is the exact opposite of what we wanted before. We wanted fast money, right? And all we strive for now is patience and self-discipline, which is literally the exact opposite thing.
Yeah, I think also like a lot of traders, they come in and I think it's a big thing maybe online, but day trading. A lot of traders want to come in and day trade or scalp. And I think a lot of the times actually, not everyone's built the same. Chris, you might be, I might enjoy swing trading. I might be a lot less patient than you, and I need to trade on the 50-minute time frame. Someone need to make quick decisions. They excel in that. They can trade on the 1-minute time frame, 2-minute time frame, and that type of stuff. So I think also, everyone's different, and there's so many different ways to make money. You got to find what works for you. And also, it's not the market that you conquer, it's yourself. Again, as I said, like if the strategy was the way that that was like the holy grail, right? There's no holy grail, but if it was the strategy, everyone would be trading the same way. No one's trading the same way. Everyone's trading different ways, different concepts, everything like that. It's all got to do upstairs, in the mind. So yeah.
It's funny enough. I think what was it last week? Somebody asked a question. What's the holy grail of trading? Emma, do you remember this?
Yeah, it was something along the lines of what is the holy grail of trading? Yeah, I can't remember the exact question.
I think the answer was something along the lines of self-development. Funny enough, there is no holy grail, and it's literally exactly what James is saying right now, guys. You can see it. Like James was not part of that stream, and he has the exact same beliefs, which is just fascinating, right? So I want to know, James, from you, and then I'll kind of touch base on this as well. What were some of the unexpected challenges that you would have when you were striving to become profitable, right? You thought it would be easy. What weird curveballs were thrown at you?
I think the biggest one for me, I think I already mentioned it, but there was like not wanting to lose. I just hate losing. I'm an extremely competitive person. And then once you actually get into it and you like, you realize that geez, the losses can happen on an everyday basis. I mean, you can lose trades in a day, but still end up, green on the day, or you can lose trades in a week, but still in the week green. So I think that was probably the biggest one, because especially coming from a competitive background, you see losses as kind of like negatives. But in trading, you kind of have to see it as like, well, they're going to happen, so you got to learn to take it on the chin.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you can approach it in a manner of like running a business, right? I've heard this before, where they say losses at the cost of business, but when you're thinking about it that way, right? Like being competitive, I don't want to lose, but why don't we think spending money in business is losing? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like if I have to go pay a vendor, I don't think of that as losing. I think of that as buying something that helps the business, right? The same sort of ideology could be applied to losses. Hey, I just took a loss. That's going to teach me something, right? So that's more education, right? And some people, they like to buy courses. Some people like to get mentors, right? Losses are the same thing, right? You're buying education, just smaller price.
Agreed. I think someone in the comments actually asked, how to avoid over trading. I think a simple way to do that is also to place a limit on how many trades you can take per day. I think a lot of the times you kind of have to set particularly as discretional traders, you kind of have to set your own rules. That's the beautiful thing about trading. You can trade 20 times a day. You can trade the daily time frame. You can trade whatever time frame you want, any way that you want. But you also have to set rules around yourself, because any single time you actually click that button, you actually can take a loss around. If you risk 1%, well, you should be prepared to lose 1%, because you don't know which trades are going to win and which you're going to lose.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting mindset. To every single trade you go into, expect to lose the money that you're risking, and then be surprised when you make money.
Yeah.
It's another thing that you'd mentioned that spoke to me was, what did you say? You said you need to make your own rules, right? And it's the same sort of thing as if you're self-employed, right? But trading is like an extreme version of self-employment, where if you're self-employed and you're running some sort of SEO business, or you run your own company, you can make your own hours. But like if you half-ass those hours once in a while, you're still working. But if you half-ass trading at any point, you fuck up everything. Everything is ruined. You'll lose your whole account. And it is the most aggressive version of creating your own hours. Like if you're not 100%, you shouldn't be working at all, which is the weird thing about trading is, the more time you put in does not mean the more profit you're going to make. It's actually quite the opposite. How many trades a day do you take?
Agreed.
You said
depends on the day. Yeah, it depends on the day. Probably around maybe 3 trades max per day. I'm looking at. As I said, I'm mainly trading off like the 15-minute time frame. So like 3 trades a day. But if I have like one really nice trade and I'm comfortable with that, maybe I'm up on like my personal account for some funded accounts, etc. I might call it there. But yeah, I can't say, because obviously if the market, I think the biggest thing as well, and I think a lot of traders, this is something that I've seen personally online and with the guys that I work with, is everyone wants to come and make X amount of money per day. But the markets are different every single day. You can't come in and say, oh, well, you made $1,000 or whatever it was yesterday. Well, I'm going to come in and do the same thing today. Well, what happens if the market's moving in a 10-point range, 20-point range? It's not going to be the same as if it was on a trending day. So I like to, push when the market's trending, and on consolidation days, I like to, maybe lay off the pedal a bit.
The best example of that is trading Bitcoin on the weekend versus the NASDAQ on the Monday. So sometimes Friday rolls around, I'm like, I'm not done trading yet, and then I go and I want to trade on Bitcoin. I'm like, it's pretty much flat, but it's the only option I have.
Unless there's like news over the weekend. I think it was like 2 weekends ago where Bitcoin just tanked. Like I think it was like 10% over the weekend.
And luckily that did get bought back up. It still does look good. I got the chart right above here, me, and I'm looking at it right now. It still looks all right for me. I'm a Bitcoin holder again. Are you holding Bitcoin, or are you done with the cycle?
I do still hold some Bitcoin. I was in first at about like 50K on the first run up, and then I bought back in, and my average price was around 26K. I still hold a good chunk of that, but I did still it once it reached 100K. I was actually like, you know what, I'm actually going to get done with most of the chunk. Yeah.
Okay. So going back to, you know, kind of those unexpected challenges, James had said that, you know, losing was really unexpected to him, which is the most hilarious thing if you think about it logically. Like, you can only win or lose, but I didn't expect to lose. You know?
Yeah.
It's, well, I guess when you're a rugby player, right? And funny enough, Seb was actually Seb is our COO. He was a professional athlete as well coming into the space beforehand. And you don't expect to lose. You're very, very competitive. And
especially athletes, dude. We don't like it. We don't like it.
Yeah. Cool. The big one for me was, I thought I could come into the space and everyone seemed to just be really arrogant, right? Really cocky, you know, full of confidence. Hey, I'm the best trader. And I play that off a lot for the sake of the YouTube and TikTok. And these are more exciting character traits to just be this persona. Sure. But the reality is, that is the most unexpected thing for me, is I want to play this role of being somebody who's exciting and cocky, but that person, when I'm trading, if that comes out, instant loss. So I need to have two personalities, right? Is I need to have my regular crazy self, and then I need to have this humble Zen self. And I'm now balancing two people, right? And that's the weirdest thing for me, is if I was already this humble person to begin with, it would be a lot easier. But I don't know about you, man. Like in rugby, I'm sure it's the win, the macho attitude, right? And it just does not work with trading.
100%. I think that's also probably I wouldn't say I was ever like an arrogant person, but you have to have some form of confidence. But the market comes, as you mentioned, you got to be confident, but yet also like very mindful and be like, okay, I back myself and my trading abilities, but also say, listen, like I need to just take it one day at a time. You can't anticipate when you're going to have wins, when you're going to have losses. It's got to take it one day at a time. I think that's I agree with that. It's kind of like, like a Conor McGregor. He has like I'm sure he doesn't act the same way around his wife and kids at home, the same way he does at press conferences.
Oh yeah.
Yelling the F word left, right, and center. So I'm pretty sure he's got like that double-edged sword, like the two-type of personality as well.
Yeah, that would be hilarious to see him at home with his
Edward, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in his household.
Yeah. So here's a fun question. We'll get Emma in on this as well, because she's sitting there.
I'm sitting here trying to keep up with all the comments that are coming through. It's really testing my reading.
I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
And it's you guys
it's just constant
going bonkers today.
And I have two going at once. So
yeah. If you could be a fly on the wall of any trader, who would it be? And should we do during trading, or should we do after trading session? You know what I mean? I want to see what they're like in their regular life versus their
Sure. Well, who would you go with? You go first. Who would you go with?
Oh, there's a couple of things coming to mind. First of all, is Warren Buffett. I think would be incredibly boring. I would not want to watch him trade. I would want to watch somebody just insane.
So you?
I'm already a fly on my own house and buzzing around the whole time. And there's the big one. The big one is ICT. But again, I want to see Mamba FX for some reason.
True. What was that other guy's name? He ran across the Super Bowl field or something like that.
Oh, Alex G.
Yeah, I'd like to see him. That's probably someone I'd like to reply. Okay, while he's trading and then afterwards as well.
Yeah, that's a really good. Yeah, you want somebody like to see. I want to see how they freak out when they're in drawdown, because to me it makes no sense that you're going to be able to sit there patiently when you have this crazy. Because I already have enough emotion running through me, and I feel quite insane on the charts sometimes.
You're only trading NASDAQ though, right, Chris?
I only trade the NASDAQ, and then I hold Bitcoin based off. I buy spot Bitcoin, so I either hold or don't hold Bitcoin. I don't ever short it. Right. Never. You would be idiotic to short Bitcoin, right?
Okay, but so you don't day trade it, right?
No. If it's the weekend or like Asia session or something like that, and I got nothing to do, I'll check out the 15-minute time frame on there and kind of throw some like micro lots or something, and just play around and make $30 type thing, enough to go buy dinner, right? And then I paid for my night, right? So
sure. It's like going to the casino playing red and black, and then you once you're up enough to cover the drinks, and then you
yeah, it's funny. I got invited to the casino Friday night, I think, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what's the point? I could just go home, push one button, and have the exact same experience, but have better odds.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, dude. We're actually having this exact debate. My mates were saying, dude, let's go to the casinos, I said, dude, I'd rather play my casino. I'd rather just trade. Yeah. I'd rather just put in my own money and trade for while you guys go to the casino, I'll trade. And as you say, probably have better odds.
I wonder the legality of hosting an event at your house where everyone just trades off of your computer. If you can't run a casino.
You take the rake like in poker. You take the rake. To use my computer, I charge commissions. Yeah.
Use my computer. I serve drinks out of my kitchen. I got a couple sandwiches from Safeway there. Yeah, good stuff. Safeway. Okay. Yeah, a reference that you probably don't know. It's a grocery store.
I was about to say a lot of people maybe don't know that reference.
Yeah. Emma, give me a good question. I want a good question right now.
Gosh, there's a lot of people who have been asking about how you perceive trading as a journey. Like, a lot of people talk about trading as a journey rather than just a hobby, or rather than just a skill you learn. Like, it's something that turns you into something entirely different. Basically, how has trading impacted your journey in your life?
Well, something funny that we actually learned last year was there was I guess some sort of poll done on traders, and they actually found that traders prefer to find education in the market than actually making money at this point. They want to learn a skill so that they can apply it later on, right? And you're getting much more dopamine and satisfaction as well, right? And feeling of growth as long as you keep developing yourself, right? So the reality is you can go about this two ways. Is you can do the fast money, right? And then give up once it doesn't work, right? Which is what everyone basically does, but then they leave the industry. So everyone who's left in the industry and everyone you talk to has decided that they want to go down the self-development route, right? Because you know what I mean? Anyone who doesn't make that decision leaves, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then that becomes the journey. James, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, in terms of, I think definitely. Like, I think the last part, what you said there, if you don't have something that the reason, like your why, I think everybody has to have a why. Why are they doing this? Because ultimately trading is probably going to be one of the hardest things you ever do. I've got a friend, he's kind of like you can call it like a mentor type vibe. He's in his, I'm a bit younger, he's in his 40s, but he's been training for many, many years, and he said he's done like ultra marathons, everything like that. And he said he's been a dad, he's been husband. He said trading is the hardest thing he will ever do because it goes, as you mentioned, I think earlier, it goes against natural human instinct. Buy low, sell high. It's very tough to do that. Same as like letting your winners run, cutting your losses. Very tough to do that when you're actually in a trade. Easy to say, hard to do. But I think if you have like a why, why are you actually doing this? I think it kind of helps through those tough patches as well, and it helps you get past the learning curve. I think a lot of traders, also like, I've got a bachelor's degree in commerce, right? Like it took me 4 years to get my degree, and I did it while I was playing pro rugby, right? A lot of traders, they want to come in and after 1 year, they want to start making, big money from prop firms or personal accounts, whatever it is. And it just simply doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, just, it's not the bearer of bad news. It's just the truth. I'm always going to tell the truth, right? And if you actually saw it like doing a degree, like 4 years, 5 years type of thing, I think a lot more traders would actually survive the learning curve and actually start making money long term.
Yeah, it is funny when you relate it to a degree, because the amount of money that it probably cost me and the amount of time was very, very close. You're probably spending 20K. It's probably 4 years, right? And that's, I think, pretty much exactly what I was spending on a degree.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. It kind of leads into this next question I have here, which is, what do you value more than financial gains in trading? Like, besides the financial gains, what has it given you? Like, I personally perceive a lot of traders in this industry who have been around for a long time have a lot of resilience, and that's super beneficial in things other than trading.
Well, I can go, Chris. Personally, my side, in what has it given me trading, I think a lot of freedom, and I'm sure, Hunter, you'll say the same thing. Like, actually being able to, like, be at home, watch my son, now grow up, I think, and spend time with my wife. I think that's the cool thing. Trading's given me. I think it's really underrated.
Yeah. Trading from my own end is, there's two things. One is it's a community. Like, the network that I've grown here is, it's interesting working with all of these people who are so passionate about self-development, right? Where I don't think many other industries are like that. Like, if I was working in a business that was, not related to trading, if it was just sales of some sort, it's just egomania, right? And it's not the same energy, it's not the same humbleness, right? Where you're just pushing money, right? And there's no calmness, there's no demureness to other sort of communities. And then on top of that, my own kind of ego control is really, really beneficial. The money itself and the freedom, all well and good, could have found that somewhere else, but trading specifically, this is what adds to it.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, I got a couple more things to. I just want to. Are there any other plans that you have with trading that you want to accomplish that have nothing to do with money? Does anything come to mind that you haven't done already? What do you think?
That's a good question.
All right, I tried to throw a weird one in there that we might be able to do. Right. So I know you're going to say freedom already too.
Yeah,
you already just said freedom.
I can't say that. I've used up that answer.
you already got freedom.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd actually probably have to think about that one. We'll have to cover it on next week's episode.
Yeah, I'm thinking the top thing is, I didn't even have an answer for this myself. I just thought this might be an interesting thing.
Is this something you wrote down before and you thought of now?
Yeah, I just write things down before.
Nice.
And a couple questions, just kind of a guideline of what we should talk about. And my thought is potentially meeting some really, really high influential people that, like, if I become the best trader, for example, right, and my dumb money concepts for whatever reason takes off, and that gets big, and maybe we're doing some sort of conference somewhere, you can meet really cool people through the trading industry, because you're flying around, you're teaching people stuff, you have the money, but it's not because of the money, you know what I mean? It's because of the skill and the creation of something that didn't exist beforehand, right? Anything you make in trading is your own strategy now.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I say this a lot, James. Fight with me if you disagree. I don't think any strategy you learn online in its raw state will work. You have to modify it.
I agree with that. I will have to agree with that. Because I still take courses from different guys that I respect, like Credelli, Stacey Berg, all these type of guys. I put it in my own way. I think because what works for that trader might not work for me. I might see it in a different way. So I agree with you. You have to make sure that you put it into a way that you actually understand. Same as like having a business. You actually have to believe in the business if it's going to work. I agree. In terms of a raw state, I mean, Hunter, you might be teaching your concepts and everything like that. But if I'm not you, so I'm going to see it in a different way. You have to interpret it in your own way.
Totally.
And that might mean adding in something else, in whatever it is,
The funny thing is, when I started trading the way I'm currently trading, somebody had taught me. His name is Trader Sumo. He said, "Hey, I like who you are, basically. I'm going to teach you this just because I like you, Sure. So I gave it a go, and nothing he said made any sense. And I was like, this guy is insane, A year later, something just clicked. I'm like, wait, is that what he's? I got to go back I ran to the charts, and I started just looking, and it suddenly just made tons of sense. It was an aha sort of moment, and that's when I started pushing that idea more and more and developing that. But it took me about a year for my brain to even process what the hell he just said, because nothing made sense. And then now I understood what it was in my own terms.
Yeah, you have to understand it for yourself. I think, unless you're running like a completely systematic, like this is the entry, this is the exit, this is the returns over backtested X amount of periods. I think as a discretionary trader, you have to actually understand it for yourself 100%. I agree with that. Yeah, because I've taken so many different concepts. I mean, I might even argue, I mean, I don't trade RCT, but one or two factors of it, I might say I could have impacted into my own trading. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have taken maybe what you say, maybe what the other traders that we've spoken about today, and put it into my own way of understanding it and make my own type of style.
Yeah. Okay, guys, that's pretty much everything I wanted to chat about. Emma, let's bring some questions up on whatever you got for us.
I'm having a hard time going through these questions here. Let's
Emma, it's only gonna get wilder. You know that.
Apparently so. Like the last of it has been a lot of throwing compliments. Honestly,
should we get some mods? We should get some mods for the channel actually, and then they can decipher and then just give you a filter of the best questions.
Yeah, I think this is kind of an interesting one, which is how has trading helped you build a sense of community or connect with like-minded individuals?
Yeah. Hey,
for example,
James, I want to hear your answer on this, because you've got your ASFX community, and I'm curious a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so obviously I actually started, as I said, I started trading, in one of the guys that I was playing rugby with, he was trading in financial markets. He's like, dude, you can actually do this. And I was like, I always thought it was a scam, to be honest, because you see the Lambo guys online and everything like that. And I was like, okay, but it can't, because obviously financial markets, biggest financial markets in the world, the stock market, etc. So started to do it, and then I kind of found Austin 2 years later, and that's Austin Silver. That's I actually bought his course, and now 5 years later, actually working with him. So we've been working together for 4 years now. I kind of went off. I was trading by myself. I was trading full time, and then he was like, "Dude, I'm actually battling like with the community to do calls and that." He obviously, I was actually paying him to do coaching calls, and he was like, "Dude, you're obviously crushing it. Do you want to come help me on these calls and that?" And I was like, "Well," and that's kind of how it developed. But I think it's so cool, bro. Obviously, we had the London seminar end of 2023 because COVID kind of dampened a lot of plans to international travel and that type of stuff. But yet we met in person, which is so cool. Obviously when you're working with someone every single day for many years, and then you meet them online, and a lot of the guys actually that are like my good friends that were at my wedding and that type of stuff, I met through trading. So it's really, really cool once you start to actually have like a community. Also people that understand the pain and torture that we go through sometimes in drawdowns, so it is really cool. I enjoy trading in terms of that aspect from a community aspect for sure.
It's actually, it's funny enough, Seb and I, very similar sort of start. I was doing some education stuff back during COVID sort of times, right? And Seb had bought something from me. And then he was performing well, so he started working with me, and we started running a couple signals together, and eventually we stopped doing this, right? And he approached me one day and he said, "Hey, let's start a prop firm," right? And it was originally his idea, funny enough, but he was the one where he retired from being a professional athlete. He's like, "I'm going to get down the trading route." He started learning from me. We started working together, and then we started the prop firm together because of his idea, which is very interesting, the way that community. And the interesting note as well, the 2023 London event, the Finance Magnet, is that what you're talking about?
No, we actually hold our own conference.
Okay. So I believe I was actually in 2023. I was there, and
there was that one.
I was trying to link up with Austin as well. Funny enough, I had a friend of a friend knew him or something, and I was trying to message him so that we could all meet up, because I met quite a few people there. And I was disappointed that I didn't actually get to meet him. Funny enough.
Yeah, well, we would have met in person because obviously we hosted. It was me, him, and another guy from the UK that actually hosted the seminar. Yeah. Interesting.
Small world. Okay, Emma, finish us off with a couple more.
All right. Okay.
It's hard to choose all the comments.
My gosh. It's just right now for me, what happens is I see a list of comments. I'm like, oh, that looks good. And then boom, they all disappear.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You got to
That's exactly
screenshot
what's
as they
happening.
go by, or just
Yeah,
double click, copy and paste.
So someone is wondering if you feel that trading's taught you a lot more emotional discipline than anything else in your life.
Yeah. So I'll answer this one for sure, and then you can butt in if you want to disagree with anything. The interesting thing is, if it wasn't for trading, I wouldn't have gone down the emotional regulation sort of route, because nothing else in my life really required me to, right? Because unless you're losing, tons of money by being irregular with your emotion, so unless you're causing massive pain points for yourself, you're not going to actually deliver and figure out that you actually have a problem controlling your emotions. And everyone does, by the way. Everyone has some sort of problem with controlling their emotions. This is why people get into arguments with their relationships, and then they just victimize the whole situation, right? And with trading, there's no other person you can blame. It's you blame the market. It doesn't make any sense. You either blame the market, get seen as just a lunatic, or you figure out how to control and trade your emotions, right? With anything else, you can always just kind of deflect. And that's what a large portion of society does, is once you get into the trading route, you can't deflect anymore. It's literally you against a screen. So what are you going to do? Attack your screen, right? And there's not much argument there, I don't think, right? What do you think, James?
Yeah, that I like what you said there, actually, about the emotional side of things, that you wouldn't have worked on that if it wasn't causing you pain, and that's very true. I don't think there's more to add.
Nailed it then, didn't I?
Yeah, you nailed that one.
Yeah. Another follow-up is
I'm a huge advocate for trading is nothing to do with trading, and it is 100% to do with yourself. You know what I mean? So emotional control is the biggest version of self-control.
Yeah.
Another good one that I saw was when you started trading, were there any weaknesses that you discovered about yourself, and how did you overcome those weaknesses?
Well, biceps were not big enough.
Yeah.
Should have expected something like that.
Yeah, James, take this one.
Obviously I've spoken about the not wanting to lose. I didn't realize that I actually hated losing more than I loved winning. That was actually quite an interesting one. But the second one was probably that delayed gratification. I think I wanted everything right now, instead of being like, listen, dude, this is it's like a long-term game. It's like a career. Yeah. It's not like a get-rich-quick thing. And I think that obviously leads to patience. It's like, if I want something, I need to actually learn to be like, no, I need to work for this, and then maybe 6 months, a year later down the line, then I can actually get it. That I think that was quite a big one for me, as was. I actually didn't realize how bad my mindset actually was until I started trading. So I think that would be my one. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Trading is it's so raw, because if you don't, as you mentioned, if you don't actually tackle your emotions head on, you're never going to make it in this game. You need to fight your demons on an everyday basis. Otherwise, you're just not going to conquer them, Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an addiction in itself, hey? The trading itself, and we need to control that always urge to close in profit when it's like 0.1 R in profit, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. Right?
Exactly. And then all of a sudden it pops like flipping 10 R. You're like, oh, if I only hold for the full lot, then it's like, dude, you can never actually get the full piece of a move. And I think that's probably also something that's like learning to just let go. What happened in the past and what happened yesterday, it's done. You're never going to catch every single move. So if you close early, you didn't know that it was going to pop an extra 50 points, whatever it is. So learning to let go. Okay, you took a loss. Learn to let go. Move on to the next day. That's all you can do, really.
So what practice do you use in your everyday life that helps you let go from the day before?
Oh, I start at 3 o'clock in the morning. I do meditation, then I run a marathon at 3 in the morning. I don't do, all this BS on the internet, bro. Like you hear guys talking. To be honest, I just the biggest thing that I do is I just practice gratitude. Like that's
Gratitude.
probably the biggest. I don't do any hectic meditations or all that, stuff. It's not for me personally, I don't think. I just practice gratitude. Like I always tell people in my everyday life, like I'm really grateful for you and what you do, and that's what I do. I don't really.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all I really do, dude.
That's. I think that's actually really helpful. That's a point that a lot of people probably don't practice. Just whether it be prayer or gratitude to others.
Yeah.
I know gratitude actually is proven to significantly lower your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. So if you practice gratitude before trading, you're going to be a lot calmer.
Yeah.
Emma, last one more. Got a good one?
Oh gosh.
You're still in your house robe, aren't you?
No,
Your
I'm in a sweater. Thanks.
Oh, it looks like that.
Not a
Oh, I
house
see.
robe.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I know it's one of those slouchy.
Yeah, you guys
no,
in winter there right now in Canada.
Cold.
I'm in summer.
Yeah.
I was up this morning. It was -17 Celsius where I am.
It's 30 degrees Celsius where I'm at the moment.
50?
30.
30.
I don't know my accent, dude. That's something you're gonna have to get used to. Under my accent, I got a thick South African accent.
Yeah, it's warmer there right now though, hey, because you're on the.
Yeah, exactly. We in summer, you guys in winter. It's like flipped.
Okay. Yeah. How does it get negative there?
I'm inversing your trades. I'm in summer, you're in winter.
Yeah. A lot of this has already been covered, but the one thing that I find interesting here is there any lessons from trading that has specifically changed how you handle your relationships with others? Sorry, I'm scrolling through. There's
oh yes, of course.
Apparently, the chat has defaulted to a lot of pickup lines right now.
Yeah, it's okay. Because you're the only one reading it. That's why they're all trying to pick you up. Guys, come to Canada. Send me a DM. I will send you Emma's phone number and her address of her new house.
You don't even know my address anymore.
Yeah, you sent me a photo. I'm sure I can send it to the GeoGuessr guy.
I sent a photo specifically without the house number in it.
No, I'm going to send it to that GeoGuessr guy, Rainbolt.
Oh God!
And he's going to find it. He's going to find it in 30 seconds.
It's okay. I'll go hide in my sister's house.
So the question was, are there any skills from trading that has helped your relationships?
Specifically, is there anything that you've discovered in trading that has kind of impacted your relationships in some way, somehow?
Oh, there's so much.
There's so much. Well, and this is the thing. This is why I bring it up, because I know for you, there have been things that you've learned in your trading journey that has ultimately impacted your personal relationships.
Yeah.
So.
The one that we keep talking about is being able to recognize, hey, that hurts. Right. And the funny thing is we just kind of like cover up our feelings, right? Where it's like, we kind of just accept being uncomfortable. We don't really process through it. And we don't actually use anxiety, fear, greed, all of these things as data points in order to know that there's an issue. Right. And the same sort of thing happens in relationships is, somebody says something you don't like, you kind of just like brush it off rather than just saying, hey, this is actually kind of important and I don't want it to happen again. Right. That's something that happens a lot in my sort of communication. Another interesting one is time management, which is a weird thing. Is with trading, I have to reserve time for that energy. Right. So the market open is trading hour. Right. And that's all I do for the open. So I'm able to focus on that. Right. With relationships, a similar thing. In the evening, 4 hours to hang out with somebody, right? That's reserved for that person now. So delegating time in different areas where you can have a balanced life has been really, really critical. And that's a new thing for me, actually, because I used to just trade always and to talk to people always, do work always, go to the gym constantly throughout the day, right? Everything just kind of blended into one. And then everything was a mess, right? When you block things properly, you can actually give significant energy to each of them. What about yourself, James? Finish this off. We're going to wrap it up here.
Yeah. What is it actually talk? I think in terms of trading, probably I mean, I never used to really journal. So I think actually in a weird way, kind of like communication, I never really used to journal, but now in trading, you have to actually kind of journal and say, like review. So I think kind of like in my sense, communication, in my relationships, but also in how I journal is a form of communication, like review. So I think that for me, that's kind of one way that's really helped me in my relationships.
I love it. Good stuff. Thanks, James, for joining us, guys. Give me a rating out of 10 in the comment section. How well did James do? 10 out of 10? 1 out of 10? 1 is the worst, 10 is the best. Give us a rating. Emma, you're about to pick somebody that's you're going to make their day. $50,000 account, guys. If you do not win this account, MavenTrading.com, if you want to get yourself an account as low as $20-ish. I'm just going to $20-ish, right? You can get yourself an account. Maven Trading, most affordable accounts in the industry. Best support, fastest payouts. Who's the winner? 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. A huge 10. Oh, you got a 5 from
Yeah.
So our winner today is, because we usually pull from YouTube chat, but we have to give some love to some of our other streams as well. So today it's from X, and it is Snitch. So Snitch, I will tag you on our Maven account. Since I have your profile, and you can go and collect your winnings. I'll let you know how to do it.
Right on. Okay, thanks, Emma. Seems like everyone liked James, so he's coming back next week where we're going to continue talking about the passion of trading. New topic every single week. You can check him out on Maven's website, Maven's X channel if you want to see the upcoming events. Guys, that's all for today. I'll see you next week.